My pranams to all Atmajyothis, divine light of the self. Today let us continue the topic which I had taken earlier last time. It's called Atmavichara or self-inquiry. What is the purpose of all our meditation and spiritual practice? Why are you doing this? It's good to do. You feel peaceful. What is realization all about? We have to understand the essential nature of realization. Otherwise, whatever practice we are doing, it makes us feel good. But are we on the right track? How do you know? What is realization all about? What do you think is realization? What is realization? What is that you want to realize?
My true nature.
True nature is what? What is true nature?
True nature is your love, your peace, your joy, your bliss.
Peace, love, joy, bliss is the true nature. If you are realizing your true nature, what will be your experience?
There will be no experience per se, but you will be established in these things permanently. Like nothing will have any impact on your being.
Nothing will have impact on your being. The realization, the ultimate realization, what we call is realization of non-duality, means Advaita. There is no other. Okay? So that realization is what we are aiming for when we do a meditation or any spiritual practice. How will that realization be? The closest you know of that is deep sleep. In deep sleep, there is no other. Okay? There is no world. There is nobody else. And there is bliss. Deep bliss. The deep sleep what you experience is closest to what you know as non-duality. But that is not realization. Then if deep sleep is realization, everybody will be realized because everybody will go into deep sleep and get up. Deep sleep is only example of what is non-duality is about. What is missing in deep sleep?
Awareness.
So knowledge of yourself, awareness of yourself is missing. That means ignorance is not gone in deep sleep. Ignorance is still there in deep sleep. When there is ignorance, because of the ignorance, you still feel there is some separation, something is there, world is there, body is there. You will come up again to fulfill all the impressions, karmic impressions what you have. Okay? So what happens is you go through waking state. In waking state, the ego arises. You go to a dream state where you experience the world's experience what you had in the waking state, you start experiencing it again in a mental mode. And in deep sleep, you go to a causal mode where the ego becomes the dormant, but there is no wisdom gained. Okay? The wisdom is not gained because there is no awareness of the self. There is awareness that there is a bliss, but ignorance is not removed. Okay? The state where ignorance is not there is called Turiya. Turiya is beyond 3. People call it as fourth state. It is not correct translation. In English, they call it as fourth state. It's not a fourth state. It is beyond 3. Beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So that state is called Turiya. Turiya means beyond 3. It is not the fourth state. Many of the English translations, when you read, you will see the translation as the fourth state. It is not fourth state. The states are for the mind. Mind goes through 3 states: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Okay. In waking state, the duality is very predominant. You see so much of multiplicity, so much of variety. Right? Variety is there, fine, but in that variety, you associate with the body, this body, and say, I am this body. This body is also part of this variety. Okay? As long as you don't associate with the body, there is a variety only. This variety is called dualism. But when you identify with the body, it becomes duality. Dualism is like a 3D canvas, 3D painting. Alright? 3D painting, all these pictures are there, even this body is there. Duality is when you identify with a particular body and say, this is me. That's called duality. And duality is source of all stress and pain and suffering in our life. Why so? When there is a duality, I am a body. Body is so small. I am separate from rest of the bodies. Okay, there is so much of competition. There is so much of stress. There is strain. There is a pain. Are we clear? Bliss is, the definition of bliss is when there is no other. Okay? When there is no other, there is no stress. You are all alone. Okay? So in waking state, duality is very strong. The experience of duality is recorded in the memory, and that becomes the dream state. So in dream state also the duality is not gone. In deep sleep state, duality is gone. There is no other. Right? That's why deep sleep state is non-dual. And that's why you experience bliss. In deep sleep also, if you had awareness and somebody else is coming, then you will be stressful. A state where there nobody else is there, no other is there, you alone shine, that is called non-dual state. Okay? Deep sleep is very close to non-dual state, what do you know? But it is not non-dual. Okay? It is not realization. The bliss which you experience in deep sleep is the bliss of Atman, the bliss of the self. Are we clear? But what is the problem of deep sleep? There is no knowledge. Right? There is no awareness of your true nature. Are you clear? Now what happened to the world there in deep sleep? Where did it go? Into nothingness it went? Did it go into world, went into nothingness? Did the world go into nothingness in deep sleep? World disappeared like that, just like that? Did the world go into nothingness?
No, it still exists.
How do you know it exists?
See, it's just a matter of mind, right? Mind doesn't exist. The mind doesn't exist.
So mind doesn't exist in deep sleep. Okay. Mind exists in seed form. So, but the world doesn't exist. Right? So mind is the one which projects the world.
So mind doesn't exist, the world doesn't exist.
So in deep sleep you see nothing. There is nothing in deep sleep. Are you clear? So that nothing is actually superimposed on something. The something on which the superimposition takes place, something is nothing but consciousness. There is consciousness, but you cannot recognize it, you call it as nothing. What happened in deep sleep is consciousness alone remained. Okay, consciousness is the screen in which the world is projected. Who is the projector? Mind is the projector. But the screen it requires a screen. The screen is the consciousness. In deep sleep, the consciousness is there. The projection stops. But then because you are not able to recognize consciousness, you say there is nothing. Are you clear? And at the same time in deep sleep, you don't recognize yourself also. You don't recognize yourself and you don't recognize the consciousness, which is both are same. You don't recognize the screen in the background. Are you clear? So there is no realization which happens in deep sleep, even though bliss is experienced. The bliss which you experience in deep sleep is the bliss of non-duality, but without awareness. Are you clear? Is it clear?
So when you say the mind projects the world, what do you mean? Now you're talking, right? So are you saying my mind is projecting that?
Definitely. When I am talking, if you have no mind, is there a talker or listener? See, is there an independent reality other than you?
So when you say you means my mind or?
Your consciousness. Mind is actually appearance in consciousness. They are not different.
Yeah.
Right? Is there independent reality other than you?
The talk is also being produced over talk.
So let us give an example which you know. In dream state, you see a tiger, and you see Prabhuji coming and talking to you in dream state. Okay, and I talk very convincingly also about Advaita, non-duality in dream state. Okay, and I'll also say you are not the body, mind, and intellect in dream state. So in dream state, do I exist? It's a projection of your mind. Is it true? But in dream state, it appears to be very real.
Yeah.
But was there somebody other than you in the dream state?
No.
It was not there. So that is called dreaming dream. What you are now experiencing is called waking dream.
So what is the difference?
Waking dream is a projection of consciousness. Dream is a pure mind projection. Consciousness.
Yeah. So the question is, if consciousness is projecting the universe, and I am experiencing one aspect of it through my mind, so how does that reflection take place?
Which reflection?
Like, I am not making you talk, right? My mind is not making you talk. It is consciousness which is projecting this whole experience, right? So, how is it projected through me, this experience of the room?
So what is projected specific to individual is the impressions for that particular individual.
But a sense perception is not an impression, right?
Sense perception is not impression, but you are sitting here because of your impressions.
Yeah.
If your impressions was football, then you will not be sitting here. You will never experience this.
Yeah, so that is a reason why I am here.
Yeah.
But my experience of this place, if you take a pure sensory experience, how is that projected?
The sensory experience is nothing but you look at the world. The world is nothing but energy. That energy enters into your eyes through light energy. It gets converted to biological energy, pranic energy in your mind, and it gets projected in the brain. Okay, and there the witnesses the pranic energy taking the form of the image. Right? So in this whole process, this object, the electric energy, pranic energy, and the witness, you cannot say this is where the witnessing stops. This is where you cannot cut this whole process. You are cutting that whole process because you are limiting yourself to your body. But you cannot draw a line and say this is where this experience ends. It's a non-dual experience.
Like, flow is not clear. Like, if you say the world is physical, now you're saying, what you talk comes into my brain and then it becomes a pranic energy. It goes outside. But when you say projection, it's actually inside out, right? Doesn't it rise and fall in consciousness?
No. The inside out is when we are saying inside out, again we are distinguishing them.
Yeah.
The inside out is simultaneous. So you are giving a cause and effect relationship inside out in consciousness. It is simultaneous. Because we are not able to that simultaneousness, we are giving a cause and effect relationship. You tell me, I am sitting here. Okay? Understand? And your image, you are having image of me in your brain. So where does me end and your image begin?
So there's a space in between us.
Yeah.
So that's the boundary, right, between objects.
You are seeing me
Yeah.
as energy. There's the energy which enters into your eyes. It becomes pranic energy. And it becomes image. And the Sakshi takes the form of the image to understand what's happening. So now where do I end? Your perception of me is only image.
Yeah.
Right? Where do I end and where do your perception begin? This whole process is a continuous process. Okay? For our convenience, for our mind says, okay, this is where it cuts the experience. All experience in life are non-dual in nature. Because of mind, it gets cut. We'll come to that experience perception part. Okay? So ultimate reality is non-duality. When you say non-duality, there is no other. Then the first question comes: this world is there, this projection, this body is there, this world, everything is there. Okay? Now this world, this body, this projection is because of your sense organs and mind. Sense organs are limited in nature. The mind is limited in nature. For example, your sense organs, eyes, can only see a visible spectrum. Okay? The reality is beyond visible spectrum. The visible spectrum is cut to experience the world as a vision. Then similarly your ears can only sense 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. But audible sound or experience is much larger than that. So experience of what you call as reality is cut by the sense organs. So then mind cuts that experience into further down for storing purpose. Right? A part of the reality is stored as the image in your mind. So for example, if I say flower, rose flower, some image of rose comes to you, some rose, some seen somewhere, but that is not actual representation. It's only partial filtered version which is stored there. So when we are dealing with reality, we are always dealing with the partial reality. Okay? And partial reality is projected by the sense organs and the mind. If you look at the reality, total reality, there is nothing. There is no projection. All that is there is consciousness. So this is given as an example, rope and snake example in Vedanta. Somebody sees a rope while going in the night and he is afraid that he has seen a snake. There is a misapprehension. There is a mistake. Apprehension, misapprehension. Snake. So then somebody else brings a light and torch and sees that there is no snake but only rope. So now the right apprehension has happened. So in the right apprehension, the world is nothing but a projection, mithya and temporary. What is there is satya or eternal, is nothing but the self or awareness. Everything else is a projection, temporary. So, until you have a realization of Advaita, non-duality, still you have a tendency to get attracted to some body, including this body, and identify with that. You have to realize that body, mind and intellect and the world is nothing but an appearance, mithya. So that's one realization. Then second realization what has to happen is, I am Satya, I alone is truth. I means not the body, mind and intellect, the consciousness. That alone is the reality. So this understanding, this realization is called Advaita. Any questions? Even if 50% realization takes place, it's not complete. You realize the world as mithya, okay? That's not sufficient. If you realize that self alone is reality, that's not sufficient. The self alone is reality and world is a projection. Mithya has to be clearly established. So then only it becomes a non-dual realization. Otherwise, it is incomplete realization, because there is always a ego which will project something else, which in the and identify with something else. Satya means eternal presence. Satya means truth. False means it doesn't exist. Mithya means it appears to be existent but not real. For example, when you go to a desert, you see a mirage, a lake. Is the lake really there? But it appears to be there. Okay, that's called mithya. It's not real. It's an appearance. Okay, but if you go to drink water, it's not there. Mithya means appearance, temporary appearance. While it is appearing, it appears to be true. But when you really examine it, it's not true. Are you clear? So, this realization has to sink in very clearly. There is no other. The world is nothing but a mithya. I alone, the Atma, the self alone is Satya. So then only freedom happens. Freedom from the ego. Are you clear?
Everything you see is it's all consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's the realization.
Yeah.
Brahma, Satya, Janimithya, but Jagat is there. But the point is all the consciousness.
Jagat is there. It appears to be what you see, conditioned by the sense organs. But if there is unconditioning by sense organs and mind, then what appears to be there is not there. Only consciousness is there. The consciousness is the screen in which the world appears. No, what is not?
This whole projection thing is like, how is the universe projected and how does the jiva experience it?
The universe appears in front of you because of your mind and sense organs. Okay? There are two scenarios. One is mind and sense organs have unlimited bandwidth. Then there is nothing in the universe, only consciousness there. Mind and sense organs don't exist. Then also nothing is there. But then ignorance is there. Understand? So the limitation of the mind and sense organ gives the appearance of the world of variety, name and form. It is something similar to what when you go to a 3D movie. Okay, you wear the glasses. When you wear the glasses, there's always a 3D image. If you remove the glasses, all 3D images are blurred. So the body, mind, intellect complex is that 3D glass which gives you appearance of the world, 3D world. What is not?
So, when I'm dreaming, I project a world gathered from the impressions of the waking state. It's pretty clear I am projecting my own universe.
Correct.
But in waking state, if it is the same thing,
It's a consciousness is projecting. The consciousness is projecting the waking world. Consciousness. So the mind gathers impressions in the waking state. Consciousness projects the world through the mind. Okay. In the process, mind also starts gathering impressions. In dream state, only mind, of course with the help of consciousness, experiences the impressions. When you say I, if you are referring to the I as body, mind, intellect, then that is not the I. We are only speaking of consciousness. So that consciousness is what is projecting the waking world. The impressions gathered during the waking world by the mind becomes your dream world.
So in dream world, does prana play a part or is it only mind?
Prana has to play. Mind has to, whatever movement of the mind happens will happen with the prana. So that's a subtle prana, sukshma prana. There is a gross prana and there is a subtle prana. So mind with the subtle prana plays a dream role. Okay, so the non-duality has to be realized. So this non-dual state is called turiya. Turiya means beyond three. Okay, beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The waking state is identified by akara of omkara. Dream state is identified by ukara of omkara. Deep sleep state is identified by makara of omkara. Akara, ukara, makara represent waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The silence after omkara represents turiya. Turiya is not a fourth state. Okay, in English translation they give turiya as the fourth state, which is not fourth state. States are there only for the mind. Turiya, there is not a state. Turiya is consciousness. Okay, that's why in Sanskrit it's called turiya, means beyond three. So in beyond three, that beyond three is present in all the three. In waking state, dreaming state, deep sleep state, that is there. Understand? And it is beyond waking state, dreaming state, and deep sleep state also. It is there in waking state. When you are experiencing the world, turiya is already there. Okay, when you are dreaming, the turiya is there. When you are deep sleep, the turiya is there, which is nothing but consciousness. Okay, and when you are in samadhi, mind has become deeply silent and full of awareness. Turiya is there. So turiya is not a state of the mind. Turiya is present all three states of the mind and beyond three states of the mind. It is not there. Body and mind are not there. Turiya is also still present. It's called consciousness. So turiya is what we call as supreme reality, Atma, Brahma. Okay. To realize turiya in waking state, dreaming state, deep sleep state, and samadhi state is what we call as realization. Are we clear? So let us take the waking state experience. So what is this? What is this?
Sun.
This is banana, right? So what is there in this experience?
It's an edible food.
I am seeing banana. I am seeing banana, right? You state that I am seeing banana. So there is banana is there, and I am seeing banana is there. I am is there, seeing is there, and banana is there. Three, right? I am seeing banana. The experiencer, the experienced, and the process of experiencing. Are we getting it? What is the experiencer?
Seeing.
I am. Okay. Experienced is banana, and the process of experience I am seeing. Right? There are three. Okay. If it is non-dual, how many should be there?
Nothing.
Nothing is non-dual, not non-dual. Nothing is, no other is non-dual. Nothing is no other.
Okay.
Okay. Consciousness alone should be there. Is waking state experience, there are three. Everything in the experience gets split into three. I am, the process of seeing, and seen. This is called Triputi. Three. Okay. One consciousness appears as three. I am seeing banana. Right? So now let us say you see something else. What is this?
Mobile.
Mobile. So you say that I am seeing mobile. I am seeing banana, I am seeing mobile. What is common in both of these?
I am.
I am is common in both of these. In any of your experience, I am is there. Without I am, there is no experience. Are you clear? Is it clear? I am is present in every experience what you see. Right? So is that, what is this I am? Is the I am body? Is that I am mind? Is the I am intellect? What is this I am present in all experiences?
Sakshi. I am Sakshi.
That I am is the witness or consciousness which is present in all the experiences in life. Are we clear? Without I am being present, there is no experience. Have you understood? So whenever you experience something, that I am is present in all the experiences. Now is it I am body? Is I am body? I am mind? I am intellect? Actually I am is the consciousness. But by mistake, every time when you use I am for your body or mind or intellect. You understand? It's a mistake. Are you getting what I'm saying? Every time when you use you use the I am for body, mind or intellect, but really I am is what? Consciousness. Do you understand? So the consciousness is the one which experiences the world through your eyes, world through the sound through your ears, touch through your skin. Okay? Because the consciousness alone is the knower. Right? And in between you come and say I am means body, which means this becomes the experiencer, the jiva. Are you clear? So which of this is real? The Sakshi is real or jiva is real? What about jiva?
Both are the same.
Both are there?
Both are the same.
Both are same. Sakshi is jiva. Whenever you use the word I am, you are using it for body or mind or intellect or Sakshi.
Sakshi.
All time.
Nahi, by ignorance,
Ah.
by experience, we take it as a body.
Ah.
But what I mean is, without ignorance, it is not.
If it is not ignorance, then Sakshi alone is the witness in the world. Are you clear? Understood? Not understood. What is not understood?
The whole thing is like,
What is that like?
it's confusing, it's not clear.
What is confusing?
Like how to isolate this I am from.
We'll come to that. Right now you listen to my logic. So in every experience of your life, okay, there is something called I am. Okay. So what is present in every experience and everything in the world? What is that? What something which is present in everything and every experience in life world? What is that called? That's called God actually, from our language. God is present everywhere means I am present everywhere. Understand? Otherwise God is just a concept. God is present everywhere. Yeah, God is present everywhere. God is present everywhere as I am. You understood what I'm saying? Have you understood what I'm saying? The God is nothing but I am. So this is beautifully told in Jewish language. You know what is the name of God, Jewish God? Jewish God's name is called Jehovah. The translation of Jehovah in English is called I am. Translation of Jehovah into English is called I am. Okay. So when Moses, the Prophet Moses goes onto a holy mountain. There is a bush on fire. Okay, and he realizes it's God. Then and there are 10 commandments comes onto that, revealed in that. So then he asks, what shall I tell my people? Whom I have met? Go and tell them, you have met I am that I am. That English has no meaning. Okay, I am that I am. Okay, that meaning you will understand only if you understand Sanskrit word. Because soha must mean, I am that, I am that. So the God is present in every living being and non-living being as I am. Understand? Because every experience I am is, if you remove I am, there is no experience. Everything in the world, if you see star, I am is to be there to see the star. Now that I am is confused, the body and mind is different matter. Are we clear? Yes or no? Too heavy? Okay. So the first and foremost name of God is Aham, means I am, is the name of God. Okay. Aham comes from Sanskrit word Aheyam. Aheyam means something which cannot be eliminated, something which cannot be dropped, which cannot be reduced further. The self, Aham, is the primary name of God. Anything experienced in the world, Aham is present, I is present. Are we clear? Okay, let us go to the next level of understanding. Now you are seeing here wall, right? What are you seeing? Wall. Are you seeing wall? Are you?
The image.
Huh?
The image.
We will see the image of wall. First let us see the wall itself. Are you seeing the wall? If there is no light, is there a wall there? You cannot see wall. So are you seeing the wall or are you seeing the light reflected from the wall?
I'm seeing the projection.
You are seeing the light which is reflected from the wall. You are not seeing the wall, but you are seeing the light reflected from the wall.
Yes.
Right? Earlier you were saying you were seeing the wall. Huh?
You can touch the wall.
Touching will come to later. First seeing. Actually logic applies to touch also. Same thing logic applies. Okay, that is a tactile sensation. Whereas let us say seeing. Are you seeing the wall or are you seeing the light?
Projection of light.
Light. Okay, understand? The light is translated into our biological energy, prana, inside your eyes. So are you seeing the light or pranic energy? What are you seeing?
It's energy. Kind of.
Pranic energy. Okay, so pranic energy forms the image, right? Are you seeing the image or are you seeing the wall?
I'm seeing the image.
So the image is formed in the mind, right? But mind itself is a dummy instrument. If the consciousness doesn't take the form of the image, you cannot recognize the image.
Yes.
So then what are we seeing?
I'm seeing energy.
Energy is over now. It's
Energy.
consciousness.
Consciousness.
What you are seeing is nothing but consciousness. If the consciousness doesn't take the shape of the image of the object which you are seeing, there is no seeing.
See, I am individual consciousness.
No. Individual consciousness is mind. We are not referring to individual consciousness. You are confusing
No, I just have one doubt. Universal consciousness and the individual consciousness is the difference.
individual consciousness is what you consider yourself as me.
The BMI.
Body, mind, intellect.
Oh.
Universal consciousness is beyond body, mind, intellect. What powers the body, mind, intellect? Okay. So we are always, whenever you are saying something, it's always about with respect to universal consciousness, not the body, mind, intellect. Of course, body, mind, intellect takes the form. Okay. Ultimately, it is nothing but wave is nothing but different from the ocean. So when you are seeing the wall, are you seeing the wall? Or Gayatri, too heavy?
I'm seeing the wall on the picture.
You are seeing the wall or light reflect on the wall.
There is light on the wall, but I can see the wall.
If there is no light, can you see the wall?
I can't see.
So
The wall will be there.
you don't even know wall is there or not. You only see the wall in the presence of light. So what you see is the light which is reflected from the wall. Okay.
Light
So
and wall both.
that you call as wall, that you call a donkey, that you call as something else is different matter. So what you are seeing ultimately is light. The light is converted into pranic energy in your eyes. So ultimately what you are seeing, pranic energy. Pranic energy forms an image. Okay. So somebody has to understand that image. The Sakshi understands the image by taking the form of that image.
So Prabhu, if I'm seeing the light, why do I see a image of the wall? The light is different from the wall, right? Right now.
Light is different from the wall.
Yeah, so
Wall is also energy. Light is also energy.
yeah, I mean fundamentally they are the same.
Uh,
But if you're saying I'm seeing, which light are you talking about now?
Too light. So what you see is nothing but image formed in the consciousness. Consciousness itself takes the form of the image. Okay.
Always the confusion is
Uh,
why all are seeing the same wall.
I don't know what he is seeing in the wall. Okay. That's because all have only one consciousness. If you have different consciousness, you have different consciousness, you will not see, you will see different things. Okay. On the wall, he may project something. He may see it's Taj Mahal. Okay, same wall. That's because his mental projection. But we both of us are seeing the wall because of the universal consciousness. Only one consciousness is there throughout.
Project, this one is the screen is the same.
It's amazing. Okay. Are you understanding the logic? Maitri? Huh? So we said in any experience there are three things. I am seeing the object. So the object, the subject, and the process of experiencing. There are three.
Sakshi is taking the form of the wall. So physically, is there a wall?
There's nothing. Okay. So I am seeing. There are three things. Okay. What you see is actually I am. Then there is no seeing also, because I am becomes one with the seeing. To really seeing to happen, I am has to become one with the seeing in the consciousness level. The seer, seen, and the process of seeing collapses into just being in consciousness. Every experience is non-dual experience. You only wear Advaita t-shirts and all. At least have you followed my logic? Not followed. So what you didn't follow?
You're telling that you're seeing the wall. I mean, the wall doesn't exist actually. No, you're saying the wall is there. Because when the light is projecting on it, we are able to see the wall. And it's getting converted to pranic energy in our eyes and we're making the image form. And at the end of it, you're telling the wall is not there.
No. So this is the process. Okay. In this process, we are speaking of waking state now. In the waking state, you are seeing something. There is a seer and the seen and the process of seeing. The seer is the consciousness. What you see is the object, and there is a process of seeing. Now that appears to be three, but there is no three. There is only one consciousness.
Really, we understood it completely.
You understood completely.
Seer, seen, and seeing, all three eventually collapse into.
Not eventually. It's a simultaneous.
Simultaneously.
Our mind is only making it.
separate. But there is one school of thought. Right? The other school of thought is Shiva and Shakti.
No. Shiva and Shakti is only for you to explanation. Shiva can never be separate from Shakti. They are simultaneous.
The Shiva is the witness.
That's for you to explain. That stage we have crossed now. Shiva is the witness and Shakti is the dancer. Stage is crossed now.
Okay.
So if I started initially itself, I start Shiva and Shakti dance together, then you will get confused.
Brahmam Drashyam Mayati. That's the thing.
I have to give the truth in some bits and pieces. Otherwise, suddenly I give the entire truth. Then what is there? Nothing is there. Yes, sir.
Theoretically, it's clear.
Theoretically it's clear. What is not practically clear?
See, I'm touching this, holding it. Okay. I'm in your presence.
Okay.
You're talking.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Right.
listening. I'm understanding. I'm accepting your
Argument.
argument. Tattva.
And Tattva.
This is now you have convinced me that I'm expecting everything is consciousness.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right one. That's also consciousness.
Okay.
Whatever is visible, that is
Right.
also consciousness.
Right.
Everything is consciousness.
Right.
But somewhere there is a doubt.
Doubt of what?
To what extent it is. It happens. It matters. I mean, whatever it is to tell.
What expensive matters means?
See, I'm touching, alva. It is one sensation is there. So if
I am touching. When you say I am touching, who is touching?
When consciousness, I accepted everything is consciousness.
Ah.
This is consciousness. I'm conscious. My conversation also is consciousness.
Right.
Okay.
Huh.
But still, one doubt lingers.
What is doubt?
That is what I'm not able to explain.
Maitri, can you switch on that this
Very
thing?
subtle
Solar?
note.
Among some
So, what is the doubt?
Doubt could be that it is a belief or it's real or unreal.
No. I am speaking only based on all Vedanta, Upanishad. If you have some faith in Vedanta and Upanishad, you have to listen to what I say. So, if you don't have faith in Vedanta, Upanishad, then you can believe anything in the world.
I think the doubt is coming from the mind. The mind is really it is because the mind is not completely dropped to accept that truth.
Can you just go quickly and switch on solar and come? So, this whole process of understanding and realization, I have said meditate and then understand my teaching. Vedanta and meditation, they go together. So now people come meditate, I ask you what happened? Oh, I am so blissful. Okay, fine. What happened? I am realized that I am blissful. Okay, but is the realization complete? All the realization, what are the stages involved in the realization? I have explained to you. Otherwise, meditation will be a very enjoyable experience. It's a spiritual entertainment program.
So what is discrete has to be one.
There is no one.
No,
There is
all simultaneously should collapse.
There is no other.
Other.
Because when you say one, it's also a concept in the mind.
ಇದು ನೀವು ತುರಿಯ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ರಲ್ಲ there is one more thing called Turiya Theta something like
That will come to that.
later.
Today it's only Turiya.
The seer, seen and the process of seeing should collapse.
And one more thing you said three
It's going on.
one more word you said ತ್ರಿಕೂಟ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅದು ಸೇಮ್
Triputi.
ತ್ರಿಕೂಟ ಸೇಮ್
Triputi ಅಲ್ಲ Triputi.
what
This
is
is what-
ತ್ರಿಕೂಟ then?
I don't know what is Triputi.
Okay.
Triputi.
ತ್ರಿಕೂಟ.
So the experience of seer, seeing and process of seeing is nothing but Maya. Appearance. There is always there is always the non-dual consciousness. It exists in waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. If you are able to live in this non-dual consciousness, there is no conscious impressions which are left in chitta. Then you'll be free. As long as you have slightest doubt, as long as you have slightest realization, again you are trapped into this Maya. Am I making it clear? Unless you realize the total non-duality with the clarity and conviction, and you leave that non-duality, the mind plays a game on pulling back you into duality. Non-duality is not a theory, it's a living experience.
Actually, I completely accept what you say. Okay. Accept it. But my understanding is not complete.
Yeah,
I just accept it.
okay.
Okay, I have faith in you and I completely accept. But I have not had this proper understanding. So every moment of my life, I keep saying this, everything is consciousness.
Correct.
Whatever is happening, consciousness. ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ with all my activities, there will be no impression at all.
No. ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ,
ಹಾಂ,
ಆ ಡೌಟ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು.
ಡೌಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ.
ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್.
ಸೊ
Understanding is not perfect.
Understanding has to become perfect. You don't have to repeat. It's not a hypnotic suggestion.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
So when the waking state you live in a non-duality, dream becomes non-dual, deep sleep becomes a turiya. Okay. So turiya is experienced. Turiya is the all the three states. Turiya is alone is there. That's actually what we call non-duality.
Okay.
So just because somebody realized non-duality, the world doesn't disappear from his senses. Okay. The wall will be there, the stone will be there, the fan will be there, light will be there. But all of them will appear as mithya, not reality. It is as if equivalent of saying, when you are watching a movie, 3D movie, you are seeing an image and you know that it's a movie, not reality. Similarly, when you interact with the world, you know it is a movie, a mega movie, but not reality. Are you clear or not clear? Kateni. What is not clear?
Why were you saying about projections and all?
What is projections?
Projections from mind.
Yeah. So the painting has to be created, right? The world has to pay. The world has to be. The world has to appear. So what the appearance happens because the mind. Mind is the one which projects. So it's just like when you view a 3D movie. If you put 3D glasses, the light which is there blurred will appear as a 3D. So the glass, the light, the lens, the glass does that job. That job is done by the mind. Anybody has a question?
The other day you told that when we see the matter itself, we have to understand that as energy. If we understand and see it as energy, every matter, it is easier to come out of this mithya. That is
So
Maya.
that actually is a process of meditation. Okay. In a meditation, vipassana meditation, what you do, you constantly observe your body. When you observe your body, mind becomes sharper and sharper. So then body becomes not solid. Body, you start experiencing the body at atom level and molecule level and energy level. So when you realize the body itself is empty and energy, so rest of the world is also empty and this thing.
There is a better process of understanding this Maya.
That's one process.
Shankaracharya says this drash dau padardo staha paraspara lakshana drag brahman drasham mayati sarva vedanta rendima. The same thing, no, sir?
Yeah.
Guruji, today's
Drishyam is Maya, but Maya is appearance of Brahman, and it's not different from Brahman.
drash dau padardo staha paraspara lakshana drag brahman drasham mayati.
Drag Brahmam Drishyam Mayeti, Paraspara Vilakshana, they're separate. They appear to be separate. But Maya has no independent existence than consciousness.
Consciousness ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು.
It's not Satya, it's Mithya, appearance in consciousness. So anybody has a question? Maitri, No question. Is it clear? Kateni? Not clear. What is not clear?
What was your point about it?
The point about it is the entire world of appearances, your body, your mind, your intellect, everything has come from consciousness, and everything is consciousness. The matter is a projection or appearance in consciousness. Just like in your dream, tiger appears, which is a projection in the mind. Similarly, the entire world is appearance in consciousness, and that consciousness is God, and that you are.
How is it relating to Turiya?
So that consciousness is Turiya. Consciousness is called Turiya. From that Turiya, waking, dream, and deep sleep state arise and fall into Turiya. Subbu, what is the question?
So in Dakshinamurti Stotram, he says the universe is a reflection in the mirror, right? So when consciousness is projecting the universe, how is it reflected?
No, the reflection is a word used actually. It's an appearance. You can use say appearance in consciousness. So it's a word, right? Don't get stuck by the word.
Yeah.
So the word or matter has no independent existence. Matter is appearance in consciousness. Any appearance in consciousness is not different from consciousness.
Okay.
Except that matter has no eternal reality, consciousness has eternal reality.
So even projection, it should not be visualized as a movie projection. It's a movement.
I gave just some to make you understand that 3D movie and classes. See, this is actually everything happening simultaneously, right? But our mind is making into cause and effect, cause and effect. Cause is not separate from the effect. They are same. So all that is there is consciousness alone, and that consciousness is called Brahman, and that's what you are. And what you are calling as I am, you are referring to the body, mind or intellect. That's not reality. That I am is pure consciousness alone. All that is there is God alone, consciousness alone. In other words, in simple words, you, what you call as you, body, mind, intellect, is a projection in consciousness. You are a dream character in a movie called Universe.
What is universal mind, sir?
Universal mind is all this, everything what you see in the world. No? Consciousness, there is no other. There's only pure consciousness. To see something other and projection, the mind is required. That is universal mind. Everything what you see, the sky, the star, the planets, galaxies, everything is appearance in the universal mind. And all of us are say the same stars and planets because all of us have that common universal mind. Part of the our mind, individual mind is there, which is impressions. Rest are all coming from the common universal mind. Is it too heavy topic?
Jagrata Sapna.
Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti, everything is disappearing.
So that means experience, everything is an experience, right? This coming here, listening to satsang, going back, contemplating on the satsang,
Mm-hmm.
it's an experience,
Mm-hmm.
and the experience can have different levels
Means what?
because there are so many ways of understanding it. So let us, if I have this experience